So the main screen is going to be like the one that is holding the other screens, and it's also going to be the screen with the bottom navigation bar. It extends state, and we need to add a mixin with the with keyword, and the mixin that we want to extend is the single ticker provider state mixin. So we are then going to add a controller here, so a tab controller, and to get the index that we are already at, we are going to need a variable to manage that, which I'm going to call current index. It is originally going to be at 0, that is the first element of the bottom navigation bar. So we need to initialize this tab controller, and I'm going to use init state for that. So inside here, call tab controller equals to tab controller. So we are going to have five tabs in the bottom navigation bar, and for the vsync you just set it to this, like that. Finally, we need to dispose this tab controller, and for all the controllers we need to dispose them. So here we are going to call tab controller dot dispose, like that. Fantastic. Right, so inside the build method, we need to update the index of the tab controller. So we can say tab controller dot index equals to the current index, like that. Our main screen is not going to have an up bar, and inside the body we can remove this button that I had created earlier. We are going to have a tab bar view. The tab bar view, it needs a controller, which we already have, the tab controller, and it needs children. Inside the scaffold, we are going to add the bottom navigation bar, which is the bottom navigation bar. So the bottom navigation bar needs items that we are going to add. It also needs the current index. So the current index is the current index, but most importantly, it has an on tap, which has a callback, and inside that callback, we can use set state to update the value of the current index. So this on tap, it has a value. Okay, so we can say current index equals to that value, like that. We can add the icon size of 20.0. We can also add an elevation of 5.0, like that. Also, we can add the type to bottom navigation bar fixed, and this is going to ensure that we have a fixed navigation bar at the bottom here without fluctuating the sizes of the icons, etc. So this is version navigation bar type dot fixed. Before maybe we add the items, I can create these screens. The account screen is going to go to the authentication file. So inside the authentication, I'm going to create another screen, and it's going to be a consumer widget account screen. So it's going to return a scaffold. At the moment, I can just have a body, have a center widget with a child of text my account, like that. And then I can import Riverpod like that. Let me close that and import this. Okay, let me now add these other screens. So let me close this folder, authentication folder, and let me go to the task management. Inside the screens, I'm going to let me add this other screen. So don't worry about these errors, is because we have not hot reset the application, and also because we have not added the items for our bottom navigation bar item. So the first item that you are going to add is bottom navigation bar item. So icon should be icons.home outlined. Label should be home. The active icon should be icons.home. This is also going to be a const list. So I'm going to copy this format 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with that, we can try to hot restart the application. We can go to all tasks screen. In this all tasks screen, we are going to use it to load all the tasks that this specific user has created. So I think it makes more sense to go first to the create task, to the add task screen, so that we can create the task, and then we are going to load them here afterwards. So let me go to the add task screen. So inside the add task screen, we are going to design it first. First, we are going to have an app bar. We are going to give it a title of text. The title is going to say create task, like that. And we are going to give it a style of title text style, of app style dot title text style. And I'm going to use today copy with colors.white. So if you go to the add task screen, let me initialize size config .init. So after the app bar, we're going to have a body. So this body is a column. We're going to have a column here, children. So for that, I'm going to create a new widget, which I'm going to call title description. Going to have a title and a description. Okay, it's quite a terrible name actually, but I think for cases it's going to work. So here we are going to create a stateless widget called title description, and I'm going to import material.dat. Import material.dat string title, final icon data, prefix icon, final string in text, final int max lines, text editing controller. So inside the build method, we are going to use our size config, and I think it will be nice to initialize it here. Here we are going to return a column with children. We are going to set the cross-axis alignment of this column to start, so that all of them can start here from this side. And then the first child of this column is going to be a text. The text is the title, like that, and a style of app styles dot heading text style. We are going to edit it, so we are going to use copy with. So we are going to change the font size to 18. Then after that text, we are going to add a sized box with a height of 10. And then we are going to create a text form field here. So it's going to have a controller of controller. Going to have a decoration, input decoration of a hint text, field to true, fill color of colors.gray, prefix icon, going to be icon, pass the prefix icon, sorry, border, outline, input border, border radius, dot circular 15.0. So again here we now need to add these parameters here to eliminate the error like that. So now we need to use that widget inside of the add task screen. We are going to add title, description. So the first title is a string, so task title. The prefix icon will be icons.notes. Hint text should be enter task title, max line of 1. The controller, I'm just going to create it here. Final title controller is equals to text editing controller. You're also gonna create another one right now, which is description controller equals to text editing controller, and we are going to dispose these ones. So this one I'm going to set it to title controller like that. After that we are going to set, we put a comma there. As you can see now we get that. We are going to create a sized box with a height of size config dot get proportionate height of 10, and then we can create yet another one here, which I'm going to call task description like that. Enter task description, that this one is going to be description controller. We can give this of 3 like that. So to give some space here, we need to wrap this column with a padding widget. So wrap it with padding. So this is going to be edge inserts dot from LTRB. So we are going to give you a top of 10, a left of 10, top of 20, a right of 10, and also a bottom of 10. So that way we get that nice space around them like that. So what we need to do now is to add the priority. So we're going to add the text priority, and then we are going to create containers with the different priorities. So for that, we are going to add another sized box here and get a proportionate height. I'm going to set this of 20. I'm going to add a row. So to add a row with children, so the first child will be a text. So text that says priority. I'm going to give it a style of app styles dot. So this one is a bit bigger, so I'm going to give it of heading text style. So dot copy width, font size of size config dot get proportionate height of 18. So for priorities, we have 3 different priorities, and those priorities I'm going to put them inside of a list. Okay, so I'm going to put them inside of a list to show you just another method that you can use to display some items that are in a list inside of widgets of the application. So I'm going to create a list of type string, and I'm going to call them priorities like that. So the priorities, we have 3 priorities. That is low, medium, and high. So we also need to know the priority that have been selected. So selected priority, and at the moment I'm going to set it to a value of 0. After the text, what we need to do to display those that list of strings is a list view builder. I'm going to create a list view builder, and a list view would also do as well, because this is just a small list. And since we are inside of a row, so having a list view builder will cause the application to crash. So because of that, we need to wrap the list view builder inside of another widget. The widget itself is a sized box that we can constrain the width of this list view builder. So this sized box, I can give it a height of size config dot get proportionate height of 40, and this sized box, I can give it I can wrap it inside of an expanded so that it can take the remaining space after the text has been rendered. So the list view builder gives this the item builder, and if you hover over it, as you can see, it takes a build context and an integer and returns a widget. So we're going to pass the context and an index, so it's going to return a widget here. So item builder also takes a item count. So the item count is priorities.length, so the length of that list, and we need to add a scroll direction to axis.horizontal, like that. So here we can get a priority. So priority equals to priorities and the current index, like that. We are going to return a container, but we need to listen to the on tap click listener of that container. Therefore, I'm going to place it inside of a gesture detector, and I'm going to implement this on tap method a bit later. So this gesture detector has a child. So this child is now the container that you are going to design to display each and every priority. So this gesture detector, we want to use it to update selected container. We can say selected priority equals to the current index. Alright, so the container, it has a margin. We're going to set a margin. So margin is edge insets dot only. We're going to set the left margin. So size config dot get proportionate width, and a padding edge insets dot all size config dot get proportionate height of 10. I'm going to align everything in the containers to center, and I'm going to add a decoration of box decoration, border radius dot circular 10.0. So I'm going to set the color. The color, I'm going to set it conditionally. So if selected priority equals to the index, so if this item is the one that is selected, so when it is selected, we want to show the color of green. Else, we're going to show gray color, gray, like that. So the child of the container is going to be text. So the text itself is going to be the priority. The style is going to be app styles dot normal text style dot copy width. So if selected priority equals to the selected index, the color you want to be white. Else, we want the color to be black. Colors.black, like that. And I'm going to set the font size to 20.0 to ensure that when I tap on this it changes. So I'm going to use set state. We can update the selected priority like that. So when I save and tap on this, as you can see, it now changes. So finally, I need now to create a button here that I'm going to now use to save that data to Firebase Firestore. So after this row, I'm going to add the sized box, and I'm going to add a container. So inside of this container, I'm going to start alignment of center. I'm going to give it a height of size config dot get proportionate height. Give it a height of 50. I'm going to give it a width of size config dot screen width. I'm going to give it a decoration of box decoration, colors dot deep orange and a border radius of border radius dot circular 20. So there it is. So I'm going to add a child. So the child is a row with children. So I want us to center everything in the row. So I'm going to add a main axis alignment. Main axis alignment dot center. So inside the row, first we're going to have a icon. Icons dot add color. Colors dot white, and give it an icon size of 30. Then we're going to have a text that says add task, like that, which has a style of app styles dot normal text style dot copy width, color of colors dot white, a font size of 20. Yeah, like that. So you can see it's similar to the one that I had created earlier. Yeah, and that will do. So since we are going to want this container to be clickable, I'm going to wrap this container inside of an inkwell. And so I'm going to use an on tap method here. So we are going to implement this later after we have created the repository for adding data to Firebase Firestore.